Hi, my name is Isabel Virrey, and my partner's name is Jose de la Hoya, and we will be doing our case study on Gucci. So the case takes place in 2009. So I'm just going to go through the facts starting from 2000 all the way up until 2008, early 2009 when the case takes place. So in 2000, Gucci acquired Alexander McQueen, ending his career with LVMH. During this time, Gucci also acquired other brands like YSL, F.J. Benjamin, Stella McCartney. Exhibit 1 of the case actually shows about 11 brands that Gucci acquired during this time. Next, just a few years later, in 2004, Gucci lost their famous fashion designer Tom Ford and CEO Domenico De Sole. And this was actually a big shocker for the fashion industry because they were considered like the dream team. When people thought of Gucci, they thought of Tom Ford. So he was pretty much the face of Gucci. He was like celebrity status. And once he was gone, people didn't really know what was going to happen with Gucci. Just a few months later, they acquired a new CEO, Robert Pollitt. And this was another shocker because he had no previous experience in the fashion industry. So again, this just added to the uncertainty that people had over Gucci in 2004. Following that, in 2005, about 3 dozen managers left Gucci. They were mostly those managers that had ties with Tom Ford. So again, that was another uncertainty that Gucci had to go through during that time. And then this gets us now to the time of the case. In 2008, Gucci was doing really well, actually from 2005 to 2007. They opened their largest store on Fifth Avenue in New York City in 2008. And this is where we're at in the case. So now we will go through each slide and discuss our findings with our different analysis that we used. So as for our environmental analysis, we came up with 2 opportunities and a threat that we found within the case. The first opportunity that we determined was to appeal to another population, and we thought the best population would be a younger generation. So we felt that the people who buy these luxury products are mostly middle class to high class individuals, which is usually not the case for the younger generation. They're usually not middle or high class people. So we determined that appealing to them, maybe making a smaller, a little bit more inexpensive product, maybe a smaller, simpler product that a younger person can afford, will just create more customers for Gucci. And at the end of the day, more customers means more sales, and that's what Gucci wants at the end of the day. The next opportunity that we came up with is for Gucci to engage in social media and also to use social media influencers to promote their products. And by social media influencers, we mean regular people that have a huge following on Instagram or Facebook or any other type of social media platform. So these are just regular people that post pictures, have a huge following, and their following population are also regular people. And we feel like if they post a picture wearing, let's say, the latest Gucci bag, then their followers will see that bag. They'll probably want to look like the influencer that they're following. So they might go to Gucci's website, look at the product, and maybe they'll buy one, maybe they won't, but at the end of the day, that promotion is causing that person to look up the product. And maybe these people that are looking at the products, going on the website, are not people who would regularly walk by a Gucci store and see the latest product, or would normally go on their website. So the use of this influencer is is building that connection, which at the end of the day, might bring more sales to Gucci. As for the threats, the biggest threat that we found is the competition that the Gucci group faces. And although they don't have a lot of competitors, the ones that they do have are well-established brands in the fashion industry. So, they are pretty powerful. Their biggest competitor is LVMH, and we will actually talk more about this in the competitor analysis. But for now, we just wanted to point out that their biggest threat is their competition. Next is the industry analysis, and here we used Porter's 5 Forces model to determine the attractiveness of the luxury fashion industry, and we actually rated that as low. And I will just go step by step why we rated each force, what we rated it. Okay, so first we have competitive rivalry, and we actually rated this force as moderate, but just a little bit slightly higher than moderate. And the reason for this is, like mentioned in the previous slide with the competition, we believe that the Gucci group doesn't have too many competitors, but those that it does have are really well-established brands like Louis Vuitton, Prada. So these are brands that have already established a name for themselves, and people don't have to research what Louis Vuitton sells, what Prada sells. People hear the name and they know what it is. So that is why we believe that these competitors are a little powerful, and even though they're not a lot, they are still pretty powerful. So that is why we rated this force as slightly higher than moderate. Next is the threat of new entrants, and we rated that as a low force. And the reason for that is because we believe that it is very expensive to create a new luxury brand. It's not very common for just anybody who's already part of the fashion industry to enter the luxury fashion industry. And then more than that, we believe that it's very difficult to develop an actual respectable brand. That can take years. So even if somebody that's in the fashion industry has all the money in the world and they can start their own luxury product, it's going to take a while for them to actually establish a respectable brand. So that is why we believe that this is a low force. Next is the threat of substitutes, and again, we also rated this as a low force. The reason for this is because we determined that the target population of luxury handbags are people who want an actual high-quality luxury product. It's not just people who just want a simple handbag. If they want a regular handbag, they will buy any handbag. They're not going to spend thousands of dollars on one handbag. So for that reason, we believe that people are buying the luxury, the quality. They're not simply buying the handbag. So for this reason, we believe that you can't just substitute that with any similar product. So that is why we rated this as a low force. Next is the power of buyers, and again, we rated this as a low force because we believe that the people who do buy these luxury products are not people who are, seeking to find cheaper prices with other brands. So even though prices are readily available for buyers, they can see who sells what at what price. We don't think that the customers of Gucci are people who do their research and buy the cheapest purse. They're not going to go to Louis Vuitton and buy a purse that's $100 cheaper than Gucci just because of the price. So we determined that what they want is a luxury product, and Gucci provides luxury products. So this is why we rated this a low force. Last, we have the power of suppliers, and again, we rated this as a low force. So we determined that luxury brands usually manufacture their products in other countries such as Italy, India, China. So they do have a few suppliers that they can rely on, but it's not like they just have one where, one has too much power over the other. So that is why we rated this as a low force. And overall, our group has determined that the luxury fashion industry's attractiveness is low. So, as previously mentioned, I mentioned that the biggest competitor for Gucci was Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, and yes, LVMH is the biggest competitor that we determined. The reason for that is because they're similar in a lot of ways. The first is that they have a similar product mix. They both sell leather goods, watches, jewelry, um, fragrances, cosmetics. Um, the second reason is because they both actually make the most amount of money from the same product that they sell. So Gucci makes most of its sales from their leather goods, and we can see that in Exhibit 2. Their leather goods make up a little bit over 50% of their entire sales compared to the rest of the products that they sell. And then Exhibit 5 shows us that leather goods are also the highest selling products that LVMH sells. Exhibit 6 then shows the sales of the two companies, and we can see that between 1996 and 2002, the Gucci group was in the lead. Their sales were higher than that of LVMH, but between mid 2002 and 2007, LVMH was in the lead. So this shows that Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy is a competitor that Gucci needs to be aware of, and that is their biggest competitor. The last thing we wanted to mention is that besides their product mix and their sales, they've actually also competed for the same fashion designers. In December of 2000, Gucci acquired Alexander McQueen, the British talented designer. So he left LVMH to work for Gucci. So we just wanted to point out that, Gucci wanted the designer that LVMH had. So that is another reason, that is the final reason that we use for our competitor analysis. Next is the internal analysis, and here we determine some strengths and weaknesses. For strengths, the main strengths we found in the case were quality products, that Gucci is well known worldwide, and that it keeps diversifying. The weaknesses that we found were also that it keeps diversifying, and management shakeup in 2004. And I will get more into detail about the keeps diversifying because this is in both sections. For the first strength, quality, we chose quality as a strength because that is what the Gucci brand is known for having the best quality products, for having, a celebrity-like fashion designer that was Tom Ford. People who buy a product from Gucci expect a quality product. They expect that the product that they're paying for is going to be a product that was created by the most talented fashion designer in the world. So that is why we chose quality as the first strength. The next strength that we chose was that Gucci is well known worldwide. So by 2008, Gucci had about 548 stores worldwide. This was including the United States, Italy, China, India, Russia, Brazil, and Japan. So having a reputation like that automatically makes people trust and respect a brand even more. That is why we chose this as a second strength. The last strength that we found was that Gucci always keeps diversifying. So, like I mentioned before, Exhibit 1 shows that, within 15 months, they acquired about 11 companies. That just goes to show that Gucci is a brand that cares about always expanding their portfolio, adding new brands, just making their portfolio stronger as a whole. As for the weaknesses, we chose that Gucci kept diversifying as a weakness because just how it's a strength, we found that it can have its downfalls, and that is that the constant need of acquiring new brands, designers, products can be stressful on a company. A demand like that requires constant innovativeness and plenty of money to be able to handle constant investments. So that is why we made it a weakness. As for the management shakeup in 2004, as I mentioned before, the loss of Dassault and Ford was a huge shocker for the fashion industry. They were considered the dream team, and having them gone just caused uncertainty. Then in July 2004, when Robert Pollitt came as the new CEO, because he had no prior experience in the fashion industry, it created uncertainty for people. So this is why we made this a weakness. So next is the resources. So we found both tangible and intangible resources within Gucci. To start with the tangible resources, we determined that their greatest resource was their product mix, like I have mentioned before. That includes their leather goods, their shoes, their ready-to-wear items, watches, jewelry, cosmetics, fragrances, many more. Next, we have the intangible resources, and for this, we chose brand loyalty and fashion designers. To start with brand loyalty, again, I'll mention that when Tom Ford left, people were worried because when they thought of Gucci, they thought of Tom Ford. So it was like if Tom Ford was the brand. So when he left, people were uncertain, and this is when I included this quote by Robert Pollitt when he says, "The brand is always more important than the designer because the brand will stay with us and with your children and our children's children out into infinity." So pretty much he's saying that what is important is the brand, because the brand will always be around. The brand has been around since Gucci started in the 1920s. So it is always important to have brand loyalty, and Gucci does have a really strong brand loyalty. So this is why we chose it as an intangible resource. Next, we said fashion designers is important, and again, I know that we just said that brand is more important than the fashion designer, but at the end of the day, no matter which designer you have, you need to have a designer that is going to create a quality product. Because if the new designer can't create a quality product, then the brand loyalty will decrease. So this is why we chose fashion designers as an intangible resource that the Gucci company needs.
Next, we're going to go over Gucci's value chain analysis. Gucci's group value chain analysis will first start with inbound logistics. These are the processes that are involved in receiving, storing, and internal distribution of the raw materials of a product or service. The relationship that Gucci has with its suppliers is essential to have a steady stream of raw materials. You should not just have one relationship with a supplier, but have multiple relationships with different suppliers that have high quality of leather to be made into a Gucci product. Another reason why they should have multiple relationships with suppliers is due to environmental issues. Some of the environmental issues that were noted in the case study were the September 11th terrorist attack, the war in Iraq, and the outbreak of SARS in Asia. Environmental issues, it caused shortages in raw materials that Gucci needs for its products. The next step in Gucci's group of the value chain analysis will be its operations. Operations is where Gucci Group takes the raw materials, which is the leather, and constructs into purses. Gucci Group purses are going to be more time sensitive due to handbag designers making unique designs to meet what is in and what is not in the world of fashion. The operations side will also have to adjust to what the main designers or last minute changes designers make. An example could be placing more Gucci logos on the purses or having the label be inside of the purses. The operations side will have to adjust to these new trends, but at the same time keep the quality of the Gucci product to its high standards. Third step in Gucci Group's value chain analysis is outbound logistics. Mentioned in the case, Gucci just opened its largest store in New York City, as well as having 548 directly operated stores all over the world. Gucci Group also expanded its YSL stores from 25 to 60. Some areas where Gucci stores are located are in China, India, Russia, Brazil, and the United States. With Gucci Group having to stretch around the world, their outbound logistics will have to reach all its products to its store shelves in a timely manner. Since fashion is constantly changing, Gucci Group will want to be a first mover in the fashion world with their products. Stores that are located near the manufacturing sites can be transported by trucks, but for the stores that are located far, for example, New York City, will have to be shipped by air and most likely overnight. The last step in Gucci Group's value chain analysis is marketing. Roulette, who is Gucci Group's CEO during the case study, emphasized this in his quote: "The brand is always more important than the designer because the brand will stay with us, and with your children's and our children's children's out into infinity." Gucci relies heavily on its brand name and has a strong brand awareness. Gucci markets its product when A-list celebrities or influencers it's seen wearing its products at famous events, for example, Paris Fashion Show. An example was Gwyneth Paltrow wearing a Gucci purse that got media's attention. Speaking on Gucci's Group functional analysis. Gucci Group is a market-driven company. The main activities that Gucci Group uses to be a market-driven company is research, positioning, and promotion. As a fashion designer, you will want to conduct many research to see what is the next trend in fashion, or is your designs going to be a trendsetter where everybody will want to have them. As well as a fashion designer, you will know that fashion is always changing on a daily basis. You will want to be a first mover when it comes to the next trend. Next, we're going to be speaking about position. Tom Ford created a purple pleasant blouse, which became a must-have item in the season. Gucci positioned itself to use Tom Ford for its YSL line. The reason why is YSL wasn't established as much as Gucci was. Gucci also positioned its other brand, Bogota, which is known for its hand-woven leather pattern bags, and adding its brand label inside in the high-end luxury niche market. Gucci Group promotes its products to where they can create buzz in the fashion industry. As mentioned earlier, Gwyneth Paltrow was wearing a Gucci product, and it created interest for YSL. Gucci Group promotes its product to have a famous actress wear their purse to one of the most important events in the fashion industry, or when Gucci Group has an A-list celebrity promote their purse that can cause consumers to purchase their products due to being the next fashion trend. Now we'll be going over the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of Gucci Group. One of the greatest strengths Gucci Group possesses is their quality of their products and their known designers. Gucci Group is known to use well-known fashion designers like Tom Ford. Consumers can expect Gucci to have the latest fashion trends with the world's best-known designers. A second strength that Gucci Group possesses is its strong brand presence. Consumers worldwide can see the logo Gucci and know what to expect, a product of high quality and the latest fashion trend. Gucci Group has a strong brand awareness which is evident in their stores' location around the world. With many strengths come many weaknesses. One weakness that Gucci Group had was many moves in its management, from getting a new CEO that had no experience in the fashion industry, losing two of the world's most known fashion designers, and then about losing 36 managers. Gucci, for a period of time, had many changes in management. A second weakness we determined with Gucci is having the constant need of acquiring new brands, designers, and products. With losing its two well-known fashion designers, Gucci hired internally fashion designers to replace them that are not well-known in the industry. Many consumers will hopefully buy products just from knowing what fashion designer has made that product or designed that product. Other weakness is Gucci acquired many brands. Gucci had acquired many brands where not all of the brands are profitable and some are losing profits every year. Next is opportunities for Gucci Group. One of the opportunities we came up for Gucci Group will be to have appeal to the younger generation. If Gucci can make products for the youth and offer their products at a lower price for the youth or the younger generation, they can create strong brand loyalty at a young age. A second opportunity we came up for Gucci was to engage in social media. If Gucci marketing team were to give products to social media influencers who have millions of followers to promote or wear their products, many of these social media influencers can promote Gucci products on their videos where
An average video gets around 2 million views. The social media influencer can also put a link of the Gucci product they are wearing or reviewing in the description of the video or a picture they post. Last, we'll go over the threats of the Gucci Corp. One of the biggest threats Gucci Group faces is the competition's high quality and high brand awareness. An example could be Louis Vuitton or Sephora. Some of the competition of Gucci has a well-diverse portfolio, including wine, sprints, watches, shoes, and other products. There are many alternatives to Gucci. If a customer does not want to buy Gucci, they could go to the competitor who also has, as mentioned before, high quality. Now we're going to go over the questions. Number 1. Describe the competitive position of different players in the luxury good businesses. Who are the best positioned players? Some of the players in the luxury brands mentioned in the case study are Gucci, YSL, Hermes, LMVH, which is Louis Vuitton, Bogatet, and Prada. All these competitors are in the luxury goods business. First, we'll start with Gucci. Gucci is known for its quality and luxury products. Gucci is high priced, but not compared to some of its competitors. Gucci, mentioned in the case study, is going for a more traditional look. Next is YSL. YSL is a quality brand, but more affordable than Gucci. The reason why YSL is more affordable than Gucci is due to its low brand awareness. The next company would be Hermes. Hermes is known for its high-end luxury quality. Hermes is high price and is the highest priced brand in the case study. Gucci's group brand Bogatet is a rising star and competing with Hermes. Bogatet is a high luxury quality and high price products. Bogatet is not affordable for typical customers. The next brand would be going over is Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is well known for its brand and having high quality products with a high price tag. Louis Vuitton is not for the typical customer. Another brand that falls under LMVH is Marc Jacobs. Marc Jacobs is the other brand known for its quality. But with Marc Jacobs, we believe it's more on the affordable side compared to Louis Vuitton or Gucci. Marc Jacobs is high in quality. The last brand we'll go over that was mentioned in the case study is Prada. In the case study, it mentioned that Prada is known for its black nylon bags and minimalistic styles designs. The quality of Prada is low compared to its competitors, but still luxury. Its price is still expensive. We believe the best two position players are Gucci, which is in the middle of our perpetual map. Gucci is luxury and expensive, but not too expensive, where the average customer cannot afford it. Its quality is high-end and has a traditional style. We also believe another brand that is best positioned is Hermes. Hermes is well known as being an expensive brand, but is backed up with its quality. If you own a Hermes item, you can count as being extremely luxurious. Question 2. Do you agree with Del Sol's latest, in the case, strategic move to buy YSL and Sergio Rossi's? Our group agreed with these two strategic moves to buy YSL and Sergio Rossi. The first reason is because it was and is still important for Gucci to diversify the portfolio. A way they diversify their portfolio is by acquiring new brands and obtaining a higher market share of luxury goods. Mentioned in the case study, between the year May 2000 and August 2001, Gucci acquired about 11 companies. The diversification could have been the cause of Gucci's major success in the years of 2005 through 2007. Even if it's not a specific brand that led to his success, it is important to have a big share. That way, when one brand does blow up, then the Gucci group will be able to enjoy that success. When Del Sol purchased YSL in 1999, it was a brand that was at a point of death just a few years earlier. The second reason is because both Tom Ford and Del Sol believed that they could revive the brand and eventually reach the same success they had with Gucci. Besides the importance of diversification, our group believes that the fact alone that they believe they could turn the dying brand into success goes to show how confident Ford and Del Sol were of their talents in the fashion world, which in turn can create brand loyalty. And with those two designers, they were very well known in the fashion world and knew that their customers will be loyal. Although later Del Sol and Ford left Gucci, Paulette continued their efforts to revive the brand, and even though by 2007 it was still unprofitable, it is important to note how much their sales grew since the time of the acquisition. Looking at Exhibit 3 of the case, it shows YSL's operating margins contributing to Gucci's group total operating profits, which increased every year. In 2001, YSL's margin was negative 75%. In 2002, it was negative 44%. In 2003, it was negative 50%. In 2004, it was negative 42%. In 2005, it was negative 41%. In 2006, negative 25%. And in 2007, it was negative 14%. To us, our group decided that it makes it clear that YSL was slowly progressing and reaching the goal that Ford and Del Sol had one day. Now we can go over the recommendations. The first recommendation our group decided on for Gucci to do is appeal to younger population. According to our environmental analysis, Gucci should promote their products to younger generation and lower their prices to accommodate them. Simpler and smaller products could be made so they could be less expensive for the specific target population. We also found it would be a good opportunity for Gucci to reach out to this population via promotions from social media influencers. This will make their products visible to the younger generation without them even having to walk into a Gucci store or going to a Gucci website. Our second recommendation that our group came up with was expand brand loyalty efforts. We decided with this from our internal analysis and industrial analysis is for Gucci Group to expand their efforts on developing quality products made by the best designers in the fashion industry so they can expand their brand loyalty. A lot of people who purchase products from luxury brands expect to get what they paid for. A quality product designed by the best fashion designers in the industry. After the departure of fashion designer Tom Ford in 2004, Gucci replaced him with 3 unknown in-house designers. This caused a lot of uncertainty for the fashion world. Our group believes that the Gucci group will be able to maintain their brand loyalty if they hire some of the best designers that will develop the products of the highest quality. The final recommendation our group made for Gucci is to keep expanding their portfolio. Gucci went on a shopping spree adding new brands in 2000, and although they faced some unexpected shocking events shortly after, they were still able to enjoy huge success in 2005, 2006, and 2007. Having more brands is good for the Gucci group because it gives them a higher market share in the luxury fashion industry. This also means that if any of those brands blow up with popularity, then the entire Gucci group will benefit from it. And this will conclude our Gucci group presentation.